Hello McLaren and Red Bull, welcome back to another track guide, this time around Silverstone. So, round Silverstone, obviously it's a very tricky track, especially if you're on the pad, but we're going to try and make the most of it. Obviously this is straight, a little bit of guidance here, I stick to the left and then just gently turn in. It's nothing too much really, is there? Now, tricky braking zone because you're obviously abusing ABS, turning and full braking here. On the inside, you want to use this inside curb, keep it in third gear, then hard on the throttle as much as you can without losing traction. You really want to push the car, and then down here, you're going to go down to second, looking for this apex here. You're looking for there, sorry, I'll just turn this down a bit. You're looking for here, like that's where I want my front tyre to be, it's right on this black and white curb. As you can see, we're not using any throttle or brake here until we feel we can make it. Rotating the car, now accelerating through. We get actually a bit wide here, it isn't an ideal, because as you can see we get a bit of a correction, but we are able to improve slightly. So just powering through. And then here you go, down into fourth. Really aiming for this area, this black and white curb. It's quite tricky to know, as you can see we really use a lot of the inside curb. So you can abuse the track limits a bit there. And then here, it's very tricky, but I go down to third, hug the inside curb, and then it's more of this neutral stuff, where there's just nothing being applied. And then I get on the throttle nice and early, relatively. And then just try and get as much pace out the car as possible on exit. You can see we use a bit of the black and white curb, which doesn't actually help. As you can see, we've lost a bit of time. Just a quick note on the lap, it isn't perfect, but it's a decent effort, so to speak. Now through Cops, relatively tricky corner, it's flat obviously, but I use a lot of the inside curb because at the end of the day, the car does not feel comfortable flat necessarily. Trickiest section of corners, use the left inside curb, then coming here to the right. As you can see the placement of my car, I'm aiming to use as much of that as possible. And then here we're going to go for one downshift, bit of braking to 7th, abuse the left hand black and white curb, and then we're going to come down here, go into I believe 5th. No, okay, this is good, I didn't fuck it up on my actual lap, excuse my French. What you want to do is keep it in 6th gear. Really, if you can see the angle of the car, we're trying to get it as tight as possible on this curb, because it's okay if from this tight line you go on the grass over here. So as you can see, we're nearly full throttle to full throttle, and we use a bit of this grass, and yeah, it might cost us a few milliseconds, but it really isn't that bad. And then just gassing it through here into another tricky corner. Hard on the brakes into 6th, then just on the power as soon as possible. As soon as possible on the power. And then a very tricky corner here, we're going to go down to 3rd gear. And then you can really abuse this inside curb a remarkable amount. As you can see, I'm really using a lot of this black and white curb. And then here we go, see nearly 100% throttle, a slight lift into 4th. Then just back on the power as soon as possible. Keep making sure, you see a bit of correction there, but just trying to keep the car as stable as possible. Then just powering towards the line, and it's going to be a 1:23.8, which is a pretty decent lap. There's definitely quite a lot of time in it, but I think for the sake of this video, it's a good lap. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Hope it's helpful.